Well, hello, everybody. It's Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I am DM Foss, and tonight we've got Baron SVG. How's it going, Baron?
Pretty good.
And Gun Websites. G-Webs, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for leaving the brick in the back door and not remembering so I can keep getting in here. Thanks for
no problem. So here we go. Yeah, unfortunately last week I had to work, so we had to miss the chat. I had to make some money, but
I heard this one was going to be twice as long in order to make up for it.
I don't know about that, and I can't guarantee it'll be twice as good, but we're here.
Can we have two brackets this time?
I don't know if we can work that in tonight. But let's see who is out there so far. Gun Websites. Krabby Turtle, who's going to bed. And Marie B, who's, I think, also going to bed. Hillbilly up. And Hillbilly, I've got your picture. I'm going to show your picture. Baron, don't let me forget to show his picture today. Roy Munson, Gizzard Gary, and the Vape. We got some more. Just jumped in. Ozzy Osbourne and 2 Live Moo. So let me call up. They're pinned at the top is a link for this week's poll. And let me call it up here so we can look at her. There we go, that one. So it was, do you spend more time watching TV or on social media? 58% said social media. 22% said TV. And 20% said neither.
What if I watch my social media on a TV?
That would still, I would consider that social media rather than TV.
I turn on a TV and put on social media, but then I ignore both of them.
I'd probably spend more time on social media now. There are a few shows that I record and then I'll watch basically after the chat tonight, and then after, on Sundays, then I'll watch the shows that were recorded later in the week. And sometimes I'll have the TV on and scrolling on social media. I've thought about, a few times we've got satellite, but now we've got, in order to get the Japanese channels for my wife and my daughter, you have to have a certain amount of certain package level. So they keep it just mainly for that. But we'll take a look at the comments. Tactical Maverick said, TV. I love watching old TV shows and 80s action movies. Wood said social media and TV for the win. The goddamn bacon said yes. Spectre Par, both at the same time, an option. Browsing Discord or Gilded with TV show playing in the corner of my phone. DJ Play Nice said, who the fuck said neither or more on social platform? Haven't had TV plugged in for more than half a dozen years and really don't miss it. I do watch vintage television shows online sometimes, however. And that reminds me, there is a link in the description for the Gilded server. Place to hang out, share pictures, memes, stuff like that.
It's just like Discord, except without all the weird mold smell.
It's got like 95% less Nazis also. It's really nice.
Tim S is out there. Good evening. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree with, think we left out, let me know. I always read the comments, and they're always appreciated. Oh,
I have a question.
Thank
What
you,
if
Baron.
you disagree with leaving a comment?
let me know.
But I disagree about leaving a comment.
Yeah, leave a
Send
comment.
it telepathically.
I'm going to write messages on bathroom stalls until you find out my issues with leaving a comment. And then that way, I feel like I'll eventually get your feedback to me.
I'll keep an eye out for it. I try not to use public restrooms. I don't know, they're all dirty. But I will, if I'm in a business with a bathroom, I will go in and look for your comments.
Oh, I
Guns
didn't
and,
know.
Guns and Barbecue, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Sorry I'm late. The brackets were posted for the state tournament this weekend, and I was a little tickled pink by it. Judging by the bracket with the way they're normally set up, it would appear that my daughter got ranked second.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. A little surprising, honestly. So pretty excited about that. And I'm not sure how they did their ranking. For all I know, they could have done it random, but seeing the girl that is sitting where the number one seed would be ranked, I really don't think it was done at random, because that girl is an absolute animal. So
They ranked your daughter first, but then she walked over and covered the mic, you know how they do, and then whispered to the judge, and then she came back over and they're like, she requested to be second for 2A.
yep, she's like, yeah, no, we can't have that.
Well, I am happy that you joined us.
Glad to be up for it. Can't wait to see what's going on here.
How goes the cookie fundraiser?
I need to go take a peek. I haven't looked recently, honestly.
We'll drop a link.
Oh, thank you.
So Guns and Barbecue's daughter is doing the Girl Scout cookies. So you can actually order them and have them sent to you. Or you can just donate if you just want to donate.
It's down to like 3 different kind of boxes, I think.
My gun shop was very happy to get them.
Oh, I bet. Let's say that's the one thing I always try and tell people, like, you know, especially if you... What's that?
Oh, I was just making sure that those gun shops in Washington are allowed to have full sleeves of cookies. Did you have to break them in half?
True.
There's a 10 cookie limit.
Oh man, most of them have 15.
Well, you have to pin them.
Then those like the lemon cookies, those are large capacity cookie sleeves. Tons of cookies in those.
Wesley Foster's asking you, G-Webs, what does G-Webs think of doing business with Temu?
Oh, that was my friend's stuff. So he just was out of town and asked me to pick it up, and then I'm like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh, open it. It'll be fun." And then he got me kicked off in a strike. So asshole. So I don't know. It's like one of the. I don't use Wish ever. I used some ones before Wish. I forget what they're called now. Something with an A. So I was using these Chinese sites a long time ago, where they're like kind of like a Chinese version of Amazon, and
Alibaba.
yeah, something like that. Except for whatever this one's called, whatever he asked about, I keep forgetting the name of it because it's just weird letters in a row that aren't a word. The deal is it's still stuff made in China, still the same prices as a Chinese site, but it's all in the United States already. So the shipping is free and it's way, it's nowhere near as long. Because when I would order stuff from China, when I was doing that, because it was kind of interesting when you first figure out how to get to these sites where everything's pennies on the dollar. You order something and it might cost you $15 or $30, and you forget about it, and then like 2 months later it shows up, or for the next 3 months it's like trickling in a little bit at a time. And this is sort of the same thing, except it all comes from the United States, so it's way faster. Kind of neat. It's usually knockoffs, right? So inexpensive versions of whatever. So you can imagine just like going to like a cheap dollar store or truck stop or something and getting a cheap version of the real thing. Sometimes it works if it's not a real heavy item or heavy use item, but most of the time it's just a kind of a placeholder fill in, or like one of them fake Rolexes. You can act like you got a real Rolex or something, but you really don't have a $10 thing.
I got a question about buying from Alibaba. What the hell is that smell that comes on everything you get from them? Is that what a Chinese factory smells like, or is that just what China smells like?
It's the smell of
It was curry.
communism.
I know they definitely have different customs and laws and stuff for sure.
I gotta like let it air out in my garage for a week and a half before I bring it in my house.
I mean, they probably have like incense and stuff going.
Well, I don't know.
East. It's mystic.
Have a good night, the vape, and Ting Ting's out there.
Ting ting.
The only experience I've had with Alibaba is years and years ago, I was searching for something, and one of the results was Alibaba. I didn't know what they were. So I looked at their thing and then moved on. And then from then on, they spammed me, multiple emails every day. And I finally got them to quit spamming me, because I used to reply with expletive-laced emails, and they quit spamming me.
It's the smell of communism, apparently. I don't like the smell.
I had one time I bought a Zippo knockoff at a gas station. I needed some parts out of it to fix the Zippo, and the cotton that holds the fluid, it was like shredded hospital sheets. You could still see parts of letters in the shredding.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did it say anything like help?
It was I couldn't read it. But.
Couldn't you just send the Zippo back to Zippo? I mean, it's supposed to have a lifetime warranty.
Well, you can, but I knew I could. I forget what I needed out of it, but it was I could just pick up a couple bucks and
Okay.
to fix it. I have an old one. It's like a half size one that was my dad's. That I want to send in the Zippo and have them fix it so it works. Just to have.
So that's actually right up in my neck of the woods. I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's still about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours from me, but
Those new butane inserts they do, don't they make those in China?
it wouldn't
What's up with that?
surprise me.
That's
Carolina
not cool.
EDC reviews. And Two Live Moose says, I don't believe that DM Foss has any profanity in his vocabulary. I swear all the time, just nobody notices. I don't know why nobody notices when I swear. I don't make a point of swearing, but I do. Pretty much every chat, I'll swear. But I usually, if I swear, it's
You do it in a friendly way. That's your problem.
uh, hey, go fuck yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
but it's always been that way. Nobody believes that I swear.
Let's say,
Right.
I
Normally
even clipped
for
you swearing the one time.
normally for emphasis when I'm speaking, or there's a couple topics which Baron likes to bring up that will get me going, but
Ghost in the Shell.
yeah, god damn it, that piece of trash. Yeah,
Cinematic masterpiece.
the movie, not the anime, the live action movie.
Yeah, we both agree that one's really good.
No, I don't think so.
We should watch it together one night and stream it on one of the backup channels.
So I went to look at that movie called The Second Chance. That's about the guy that made Second Chance body armor that Smeggy was talking about a while back. I went and watched it on Amazon because I ordered that sewing machine and got Prime for free shipping or whatever. So I have Prime for a minute while they're giving me the free sample of it. And it still cost me money, but anyway, I watched it. I turned on a dead StreamYard and then sent that link to all my Patreons and channel members. So anybody wanted to could jump in because you can have more people backstage. And I just kept everybody backstage, and everybody backstage can still see what's happening and hear what's happening. Anyhow, so I just ran it with my webcam, instead of looking at the dog like this. I just pointed it at that screen on that big TV that's a monitor for another laptop over there. And so that's how I streamed it. But I noticed that I guess I shouldn't point at the TV that's turned off. That doesn't help you. But there was a button on there called Watch Party. Have you seen the Amazon Watch Party?
No.
I don't have Amazon.
Okay, so I was on a movie that cost money, even though I had an Amazon Prime, which is a ripoff. But there's a ton of movies that are free in Amazon Prime. And it sounds like, and we can try this, it sounds like if you go to Amazon Prime movie that's free, everybody that jumps in can jump into the same watch party. And then you all watch at your own pace or something. I don't know. But anyway, there is something that's built in to facilitate that. And I get the impression that you don't have to have Prime, that you can, once somebody with Prime is watching it, then the free ones, then I don't know. I haven't explored it. But anyway, there is a free watch party, or there is a shared watch party thing over there. Maybe let's try it sometime.
Yeah, I'll usually, if I watch something on Prime, I'll look for the included with Prime, unless it's a specific movie that I want to watch.
Always. I think I have 4 because of, remember Brandon? Does anybody remember Brandon up from Phoenix? It might have been before y'all's time. He was a Coast Guard dude, or he is, I don't know if he's still in or not, but he was in the Coast Guard. So there's a Coast Guard movie. And I was like, what? And so anyway, you had to buy the Coast Guard movie. You couldn't just get the Coast Guard movie for free. But anyway, I watched that. I bought that movie one time, and I bought this movie, and I think I got like 2 others. And the whole time I've been alive, I bought like 4 movies off Amazon.
One of a little bit frustrating thing about Prime is if you watch a series, there'll be like 1 or 2 episodes missing out of that series, and they'll run a series just before like the well, it's probably a little different now, but it would be like just before the DVD set would come out, and then once the DVD set came out, you couldn't watch it on Prime anymore.
Oh, that's weak. I thought you were going to say like when the new season came out that they were going to be like, you can only watch like 8 of the 10 or 12 or something of the previous season. That would just be it.
Well, like, Buck Rogers, the Gil Gerard Buck Rogers, because you used to be able to watch that on Prime, and then once the box set came out, you couldn't watch it anymore.
Is that worth watching?
I think so, but it's
I can't even imagine what Buck Rogers sci-fi was like You're like, here's a knob and a switch, or like, I mean, I can't even imagine. That was weird. I was little, so that was like Dukes of Hazzard days.
Well, it's the kind of funny thing is I think for that series, they say it's the last of the long range probes, but it's like it's supposed to happen in 1986 or something, something like that.
We
When
were
he's
done
frozen.
with sci-fi by '86. So we had already gone to the future by '86.
Yeah. I was going to say thank you, Baron, for putting the banner up.
Mhm.
And scrolling at the bottom is the banner. There's untackedfaucet@gmail.com, where you can send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason. And then the link will also get you somewhere where you can do all that also. And let me show this before I forget it again. A couple weeks ago, let me get the right one. There we go. Hillbilly Up sent in a picture of his rifle, his Keltec RDB in 5.56, and he's kind of got everything going on up here. He's got a laser, a scope, and a red dot.
And a flag code violation. Shame on you, hillbilly.
Yeah, that's one of the. If you look up here, you can see it's one of the concealment boxes, flag things. So is that funky fresh or just funky?
How's that going to fit in there?
I don't think that's going to fit in there.
It's sticking out the side when he closes it.
Got to lube her up real good to get it in there.
I wanted. Do you remember me showing you they were going to make a retro Cold War one of those with laminate and hardwood furniture? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I wanted one of those so bad.
It was kind of cool looking.
Mm-hmm. Very cool rifle.
The wood furniture looked a little better than the plastic.
Polymer sounds better.
Yeah, Hillbilly said that's not going in there.
By the way, apparently I got a bad connection to StreamYard. My internet's fine though. I just did a speed test.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
No idea. It's the connection to StreamYard. It's not my internet.
Oh,
Mine
is
was-
it going? What was that?
Mine
Mark?
was doing that. I was gonna say mine was doing that earlier today too.
Here, I will show you. We'll do a live speed test.
Oh, speaking of, we're all sitting in here. Do you guys know that you can share the stream now? Anybody you invite can pull the stream out to 2 of their channels. So if you invite 2 people in and they stream it to 3 people in and they stream it to 2 channels, your stream will go out to 6 additional channels.
I saw your chat where you're talking about that. I haven't looked into it.
Me and Gizzard did it yesterday. We were the first people on planet Earth to do it yesterday night, and then Matt did it afterwards, and then Sandhills did it also.
Yeah, I saw that. I think we'd have to enable it, right?
Yeah, you got to flip the switch somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's in there somewhere. Matt found it, so it can't be too hard to find. It happens when you turn on StreamYard, so you can just probably wait until the next time you open StreamYard, and it'll just pop up, and that's what happened to me.
Yeah, if I remember, it's a big if. I'll have to check it out.
Well, I'm hoping we can do like some kind of. Oh,
Gary's saying you have to have a paid subscription to
I
StreamYard.
Yeah,
didn't
dude.
realize I was in a poor StreamYard. I didn't
Yep.
realize.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the napkins and the chair. Okay, yeah. Okay. This is the.
Yes, we are a stream of the people.
I almost ate in this StreamYard. Excuse me. Let this back.
Yeah, it keeps giving me connection is unstable. I'll be back. I'm going to see if restarting works.
That's because
I've thought about
the aluminum frame StreamYard.
I've thought about getting this paid subscription, but I don't know. I don't think
it's $25. It's not free. You only do 4 chats. It's not like, well, I guess 6 chats. It's not like, you got like people knocking on the door to like, every night. Like, oh man, hold on, let me shuffle people through.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like for me it would, add anything to the chat.
And it's gone. That's good.
So maybe someday I will, but then I can do the fancy backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, we both forgot to do it on Black Friday when it was on sale.
Yeah. Oh, barbecue. Did you realize that there's watermarks in all your thumbnails? Uh-oh.
He'd be
That's
muted.
Adobe. Which ones?
Like
Adobe.
the one for
the ones you use on YouTube.
Yeah, it's like today's chat. The
With
Adobe stock.
Yeah. I realized that after I had downloaded them and stuff. I'm like, why the hell would you let me download these if you're going to friggin' watermark them?
Wait, I thought
Everyone who
you were paying- I
watches
thought you were
your
paying
chat
for
is going to
Canva.
want Adobe now.
I thought you were paying for Canva.
I am, but I got those images off of Adobe.
I thought you were paying for Adobe.
I am, but the place where you can get images, apparently there's more to it. Apparently you got to pay for the images themselves.
Oh, you might have hooked into like Photo Bucket or something weird, or whatever those photo Shutterfly. I don't know what they're called, but the places where you buy.
What if you change your channel
I'm gonna-
name to Guns and Barbecue and Adobe?
Guns and Adobe.
There you go.
There we go.
Adobe Barbecue.
It's not like
I'm
I
gonna
do
be-
barbecue stuff anymore anyways, right?
I'm going to be buying Canva, so I'm going to own Canva and Adobe because Canva's that good.
Can you buy Canva and just have it be a one and done, or is it always a subscription?
That's a good question. I can't imagine.
I figured he was buying the company.
No,
Even
there's
better.
there's another one that's normally a subscription that I did buy for $60 one time, and I'm like, why would anybody buy this on a subscription? Because all you really got to do is like look a little bit harder, and they sell it for $60 like every other week or something. So I haven't seen that, but I haven't looked for Canva to buy it yet. Until just last night, I made the decision on buying it. I got to wait until Gizzard has a thing so I can buy it through Gizzard.
Yeah.
But it's always upgrading, so I imagine I can see why they want it to be a subscription. But I just subscribed to AI, so I'm slowly incorporating into AI, and now I'm just paying them for the make it faster.
Anybody want to send me some 5.56 or 223 ammo?
No,
Yeah, I didn't think so. I just don't want to shoot
They
mine.
had a bunch of it, but I threw a bunch of it away today because I was sick of it. I figured
I don't blame
Right here. You can come get it.
Perfect.
Pick up only.
Meet you halfway at Thunder on the Prairie.
I'm
But
going.
no.
Are you going, Baron? Are you gonna go?
I didn't want to dump it here in Arizona because of the lead poisoning, so I paid to ship it to Nebraska, dig a giant hole, and dump it into that hole. So it's a shame you shouldn't have said something earlier.
I want to go. I don't know if my body will let me go. I'm kind of doing roller coaster shit with my health at the moment.
Uh,
Don't worry, I'm not dying. We don't need to throw a party yet.
Damn. Yes,
Well,
I am paid and registered for the prairie thing, so then it's just a matter of figuring out some of the logistics, but fingers crossed.
I am also. I signed up. Yeah, just kind of waiting to see if Baron goes to see whether we're going to drive or if we're going to fly. Baron doesn't like flying. Yeah, if he was going to drive, I figured we'll drive together.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
drive. That'd be a hazard.
Um,
I'd kill somebody.
but,
Probably me.
I would prefer to fly because it's 1,700 miles.
I would have gone last year, but now that they've sold out, I remember Ben, it was all about the prairie.
But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, getting to actually meet, some people in person. I'm not going there to make content, maybe, make a couple videos, but that's, I mainly just want to go, shake people's hands, say hi, meet people in person.
I might
Yep.
ruin other people's content while I'm there.
Yeah, I don't plan on filming anything. However, I was thinking about, because I'm on the photography kick still and all that good stuff. Plus, I mean, I've been buying really decent photography equipment. If I do anything there, I'm probably just thinking I'm gonna shoot a bunch of photos, do like a photo journalism documentation of it in a sense.
When you say shoot a bunch of photos, you're going to bring a bunch of photos and then shoot at them with a gun?
Exactly.
Possibly. Speaking of shooting guns, though, so Gun Snob had sent me magnifier a while back, one of the Fiachi ones that he got for free. He's like, you can just have it. I was like, sweet. So
Dude, he probably put a bunch of like stamp ink, like a bunch of ink on the ring. So when you held it up to your eye, boom, you got a black eye.
oh man, he should have. That'd have been brilliant. But I finally opened that today because I've had it for probably a month and a half, 2 months, and I went to see if I could get it on my long range rifle because that's what I originally wanted to try it on. That's not going to happen, mainly because I don't have enough Picatinny rail on the top of the rifle to do so. But then I slapped it on my AR that has a red dot on it, or prism sight, hologram sight, whatever you want to call it. It's not the tubular red dot. Anyways, cranking that thing up to 3 power, I could actually see the reticle very well. I was like, holy shit. It has me pretty excited. I think I might be able to go and actually take some pokes with my AR again.
So when you crank it up, how is the target look?
I don't know yet. That I'm going to still have to see. I mean, no matter what, the target's going to be 3 times larger than what it normally is. But it's just the fact that I can actually see the reticle. So now I can monkey with seeing the target when I get to the range. But I also use targets that have a higher contrast for me and whatnot that I'll be able to see better. So I'm normally shooting at a FBI silhouette target, except it's the silhouette's done in blue, which is probably the color that I see best next to green. Well, green's second. So large target in a color that I see well, and then the border of it's white, so that helps out with the contrast. So fairly optimistic right now.
So Baron put out a link for the registration, and here Here's a link for the video of Travis P11, one of the organizers for it, talking about him and Defense Dad are the guys that organized this last week. Not
Yep.
last year was the first one. This year is the second one. So that's a video. They did a live stream talking about the Thunder on the Prairie. So there's a link for their video.
But you are supposed to be a content creator to go.
What about a professional shit poster? Will
I
they
think
let me in?
that's creating content.
Okay.
At least in my eyes, it is. But well, we all know how good my eyes are. So
Yeah, I don't know if I can do the road trip and then all day at the range 2 days in a row. That might really take it out of me. I'm trying to get better though. We'll see.
Well, hopefully you're not trying to get worse. So.
Those Girl Scout cookies were tempting, I will admit.
I bet. Let's say, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like I always tell people, you know, if you got a gun shop that you go to regularly, and you know they treat you well and give you deals, stuff like that, or you want them to start giving you deals and stuff like that, and you like, how do I make these guys remember me? If you're going in there in the morning, take them a couple cups of coffee or some donuts or something. All of a sudden, you'll be a person they know and want to take care of.
Yeah, you can see the look on their face immediately change when you do something like that. Like,
Oh yeah, they're amazed.
You actually care about me.
I used to do that at the old gun shop I went to because they were great guys, and then they all left, and then it was full of assholes. And the last time I brought in cookies, they looked like I was trying to poison them. So I quit going to that shop.
When I brought in these Girl Scout cookies, I think they thought that I was trying to sell them to them. They're like, how much? Like, no, they're free. They're like, what? Like, yeah, take them. What's the catch? Nothing.
What do they say? If it's free, you're the product.
Never heard that one. I like that.
It's a paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's pretty funny. Everyone immediately turned me down at first, except for one guy, and he probably weighed as much as everyone else on the staff combined. And he just took like 4 boxes. It's like, oh yeah, this guy knows what's up.
He's like, free cookies. Heck yeah, man.
Sergeant Joe Smith is out there.
They're probably like, whoa. We gave this guy a bunch of crap about the price he wanted to sell that Garand that he's come to poison us.
They told me I sold him for too little when I went in.
That's true. You said what? It was less than a day later.
Yeah, they sold pretty fast. They're not common out here. You never see them. Except for that one the other guy sold that blew up. Fuck that.
That is the Garand DJ will die.
There was a guy that sold a Garand at my local shop, and it blew up when the guy that bought it shot it.
Yeah, I think you remember that.
No refunds.
Is Night Strike out there by any chance? If Night Strike's out there, let me know.
No, he doesn't hang out with us very often. He's too cool for us.
I think he's getting his rest like a normal person.
Ah.
His stuff is just tweaked enough that I don't want to have to click through everything. And my thing has a search, so I'm not sure what I have to click on to get to the thing I need. Because like I say, on mine, I can click a search box, and I don't see a search box on his. So. So what's
Oh,
the bracket
shit.
tonight? When are we starting this bracket?
Where is it? Looking for a comment.
X Adams asking, don't you need an explosive license to sell exploding Garand?
You would think.
So what are you looking for?
Here it is. Just sold 6 boxes of Thin Mints for you. Barbecue.
Holy cow! Thank you.
Thanks, Spectre Parr. Thank you, Parr.
You are a generous person, Mr. Parr. Thank you.
Looks like we got X Adam 1 in the chat.
Oh, snap. That guy, every time I see one of his builds that he throws together, I'm just like, man, I like that.
Yeah, he's the can man. He's got lots of cans. Sergeant Joe Smith said, I loved Thin Mints as a kid. I used to like Thin Mints. I don't like them anymore.
I've never had them.
Basically, it's like a thin. God, I just forgot the little.
York Peppermint Patty?
Yeah, kind of like that.
I love those. Those are good. But like the big ones, that's way too much. I like the ones that are about the size of like a silver dollar.
Yeah. X Adam is asking, does anyone make an adapter that goes on a tripod that would attach to a Picatinny rail that might be used for a pistol?
Wouldn't that make it a NFA item? I don't know. How's that work?
Unless he's talking about a Thompson Center Contender. But an adapter for a tripod and so I guess I'm trying to figure out what kind of attachment the tripod has in the first place.
I
Does he
don't
need
know.
it to be?
No, I could be wrong.
Ooh, that's a good question because all the ones for tripods, they're all clamps that I know of. So they clamp the whole rifle in.
Yeah, and like I've seen tripods that can attach to Picatinny. I've also seen tripods that attach to sling swivels, and then they've got Oh wait, said tripod or bipod?
Tripod.
Tripod.
Oh, never mind. I've never messed with a tripod in my life. Also involved a camera, so I don't know. I'm sure they have those different things, but because I was about to say, oh, they make them for M-Lock, but M-Lock might be a little difficult for that.
Sergeant Joe Smith said, I can't have sugar no more now, or very little. Do they make sugar-free Girl Scout cookies?
I don't think so. I know there's a gluten-free one. They're the Toffee Tastics or something like that. But as far as sugar-free, I am not aware of any. I say because I probably would have bought a couple of those myself, just because I'm trying to get this weight loss before the wrestling tournament. And Girl Scout cookies being in the house, it's, man, talk about needing to have willpower. Like I can maintain my weight if I'm eating the Girl Scout cookies, but losing the weight and eating Girl Scout cookies not doable.
So
do you have a favorite? Anyone in here? You got a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Yeah, obviously the coconut ones, which are the best ones of them.
I would agree that's the best ones, but I wouldn't call any Girl Scout cookie a favorite.
Here's the deal: if they're free, I'm eating the coconut ones, and I like them. If I got to pay for it, I feel like you're helping a kid out or whatever. But yeah, you're like, man, this is expensive. But
Yeah.
you also not. I don't know anywhere to get them coconut ones. My dollar store sells thin mints, which are, if they're not identical, they might as well be, and they're $1.
The Boy Scout, their popcorn, when they sell their popcorn, I know, it's basically for charity. It's to help the Boy Scouts. It's super expensive, but the sea salt caramel, oh my God, it's so good.
Wait, now they sell it as popped popcorn. Right? Like when I was a kid, it was sold as kernels of, you had to still make it.
Yeah.
You have like this big bag of lard or something in there. It was gross.
Oh,
Yeah. Now
it's in a tin
bag that's like
So it's
probably as big around as a 55-gallon drum and stands 3 foot tall. And you're like, well, how am I ever going to eat this much popcorn?
But you got to eat it, otherwise it goes bad. Like it's not like the other stuff somebody could buy like enough for the whole year. Essentially, they'd buy like tons, and sometimes they'd pull the grease out of there. But otherwise it was just a big tub of kernels.
Now I want popcorn.
I just got done eating popcorn. Think about how the popcorn stuff gets stuck in your teeth, and then you don't want to eat popcorn anymore.
That's what flossing is for.
What if you ate so much popcorn that your gums were just shredded from it and your teeth were all wobbly?
You guys have teeth?
Popcorn.
Not since I did meth.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have teeth. What are you talking about?
Sergeant Joe Smith brings up, I like the world's finest chocolate candy. We sold in junior high for school. Was a top seller in school, 7th, after I bought a bunch for myself. Yeah, it's the same stuff like for little leagues when they sell the candy bars. We would just buy the box. When my son was doing little league, we would just go ahead and just buy the box ourselves, and then instead of going door to door to sell them.
Yeah, you remember that when you would just like set your kid loose on the neighborhood and they'd go in strangers' houses, try to sell magazines, and that was just normal. Like, we hope you'll see you for dinner.
Oh, that would happen all the time when we were selling stuff. Like we sold different stuff all year long, like different, like we were constantly out selling stuff, and that would happen constantly. Somebody'd be like, "Oh, come on in," and be like, "Dang it, I got to go inside here," and you got to, because you're buying, you're trying to sell them something, so you got to go in there. That would happen constantly. Yeah, people would freak out if they thought about all, and every once in a while it was like, "Come on in. We're going down in the basement. That's where I keep the checkbook." And we'd go down to the freaking basement, and they'd be like, "Oh, look, you got a TV or whatever." Yeah, cool. All right, we'll leave and see it.
What's that hole in the ground? What's with the hose? Why are you throwing lotion at me now?
No, I'm just saying, like, people were weird, and it wasn't no thing to have like the kid, like, "Oh, we're working in the garage. Come in through the house, and we're gonna go in the garage, and I'll give you $5 or whatever." It's like, I keep a coffee can in there, and I'll give you $1 there. Like, I don't know. I sold
Christmas cards.
Like our friends' parents and some guy that we knew because he was, lived down the street or whatever. So it's like people, it's the neighborhood.
I sold Christmas cards one year, and I don't know how I got onto it, but it was, you sold so many, and then you could get whatever prize, and I ended up getting a D&D game.
From school?
No, it was. I don't, like I said, I don't remember how I started, selling the Christmas cards.
Just some guy on the street, like, "Hey kid, you want the D&D game? Start selling these Christmas cards to people, and I'll give you a D&D game." Like, all right, I'll do that.
You got any horror stories from doing door-to-door sales?
No, not really. I walked around. Friend of my stepdad's was living with us, so he walked around with me. And I mean, other than we lived, outside, it's a small town to begin with, and we were outside the small town. So you're, walking around the boonies up and down the hills and stuff. And then just trying to explain to people that you're not a charity. Well, who's this for? Well, it's just for me, so I can, get a prize.
Yeah, because they're used to like all the kids clubs of the churches and the civic organizations and the firefighters kids group or whatever. They're used to all these kids coming up and like, trying to keep track of who all they're donating to. Yeah.
Sergeant Joe Smith said he did that also.
When you're talking about that, I don't think they ever even said to us, like, be worried about anything except for like, don't say no. Like, here's some salesman tips. Like, how to, like if the person isn't interested today, that doesn't mean they won't be interested some other time. So don't write them off. Like, that was that kind of tips. It wasn't like be worried about nothing, or it wasn't even like, I mean, seriously, like nothing at all about safety. Not even like, let's all worry about what direction, like, let us know what direction you're going in. If anything, it was like, we were like, we're not going to tell you where we're going because we didn't want people like horking our routes or whatever. We just all book off and on bikes so we could haul ass. And half of us took off into different towns, if it was something that, like if we were doing a breakfast or a dinner or something, they'd have to come back to the church or the school or wherever we were at. So you'd have to, you wouldn't want to go too far. But if you're selling like popcorn, you could be anywhere. Like you could ride your bike 3 towns over and start selling popcorn. And that's what you'd have to do sometimes if you're like really trying to sell. So, yeah, I mean, imagine like, I don't know how many kids are in a scout troop, but let's say 24 or something. And then they all get on a bike and book in different directions with like the intent to be not found. And then, yeah, like, I guess we all came back all the time.
As I was going door to door, I kind of realized that it's kind of weird that you've got a stranger coming to your door offering to sell you something, and then you give them a check for something that you're going to get in like 10 weeks. That you don't know who they are. And
no,
somebody,
that was the
people
common,
are giving me
that
money.
was totally a thing back then, though. It was like COD. It was a totally different days, man. It was different. There was telegrams. People would come to your house and say stuff to you. Like there was singing telegrams were like a real thing.
Yeah. I had a neighbor, used to have a neighbor that he would buy anything if a kid came to the door, because he told me, I don't want him to get pissed off and egg my house later. So
yeah, that was the thing. And there was definitely people that used that intimidation technique to sell. I thought it was pretty lame, but even as a kid, you knew that kind of stuff. You could mess with people and do that kind of crap.
Well, hell, trick or treat. It's like, give me a treat or I'm going to egg your house. That's how it worked.
See, we didn't have that. We were like close to like a neighborhood that was fancy that had like the full candy bars. So nobody even farted around. It was more like, how fast can you book over to the good neighborhood and get like decent candy bars and stuff? Where we lived, it was like, look, I made raisin bars. And they like gave you a piece of a raisin bar that they made, like a giant thing, and you got a piece of it or whatever. Or like, here's popcorn balls that we made, or like homemade.
I can imagine, like that's something else from like your childhood. People that just made stuff for trick or treat, and they say that should
half
happen
of my
anymore.
life. Yeah, half of my life until it got to be like you could buy candy in a bag or whatever. But most when I was a little kid, it was mostly stuff people made, and like pennies, dumb shit like that. Like, here's a razor blade, kid.
Well, like that one house that would hand out apples, and your parents were like, yeah, you can't eat that.
No, back then we'd eat them. I mean, we knew that there was that thing going around, but these are like from our friends' parents. Like, we weren't worried about that. I mean, like, if we didn't know them, we knew they were in Little League. Like, unless somebody, like, how were you going to poison a kid? Like, we all knew each other. It wasn't going to happen.
I don't know. None of us, kids believe the razor blade and the apple stories and stuff.
We'd make fun of it or laugh as we were eating them. But yeah, I mean, it's like it was somebody's grandma or something, or like the person who lives next to somebody's grandma. Like, they're not going to poison us. And like you said, it wasn't like the intimidation thing, but it's like, it's like it would be more like, oh, you're the kid that shovels my snow. Like, here, like I made a special one for you and it's got more nuts on it or more chocolate chips or whatever.
At our old house, we would get determined kids because when we would run out of candy, I would basically block the way with the shed we had in front, and I could kind of block the path to the door, and the kids would just kind of climb over everything to get to the door.
I will say, our family did know a guy that turned out to be a serial killer, so
Good God.
Yeah. Sometimes it's wise to not eat apples from people you know.
Oh, are you saying that this guy was offing people with poison apples?
Yeah, he was poisoning people.
Oh, it's incredible.
Not with apples, but yeah, he was a serial killer.
X Adam wants these days they sell frozen cookie dough, not even actual cookies. They're like $30 for the same stuff you can get like $4 to $5 at the grocery store. I like the tub of cookie dough because you can make just a few cookies. I had made a batch of cookies, like a dozen and a half or so, and had them on a plate. Would set them on top of the refrigerator, and after a week, my wife's like, "Why aren't you eating the cookies?" And I would eat the cookies, and then I'd make a few cookies to replace those. So it was always a full plate of cookies.
Here you
And then
go.
you can just eat it out of the tub raw. But
X Adam 1, he bit into an apple that had a needle in it.
Like a needle, like a sewing needle.
Yeah.
I hope.
Not, well, I guess syringe when they could break it off in there, I guess.
well, the whole razor blade one, the myth, it was the only one that was confirmed was the dad actually did it. 'Cause I can't remember if it was a prank or if he hated his kids, but
It's a hell of a prank.
yeah.
My mouth's bleeding. Ha ha ha, sucker.
Remember trick or treat? Well, there's a trick in your treat.
AAF, American Ammo and Firearms, is out there.
Hey,
This is the sharpest apple I've ever ate.
Yeah, that Sergeant Joseph said, as a teen, I sat outside the door dressed as a dummy. When the kids rang the bell, I'd jump up and scare them. They drop the candy and run. Yeah, as a kid,
You dragged
Well,
your computer into your computer room?
I hated that when they would jerk open the door and then yell, "Ah!" Scare the shit out of you when you're a little kid.
most memorable thing I can remember. I had to take my brother trick or treating, which I wasn't thrilled about. And we go to this one house. And the guy's like, "All right, there's a treat. You want to see a trick?" And I'm like, "Not really," because I'm like, "This is probably gonna get weird." And then turned out he had a prosthetic leg, so he just detaches it. I'm like, "Oh, nice." Then his other buddy's like, "You want to see another trick?" And I was like, "I'll pass." And he pops out a glass eye. It's like, "Nice. You're the freak shows of the block. Cool."
Why don't you come inside?
Luckily, that was not proposed.
When I was a kid, there was a guy in our neighborhood. Everybody called him One Eye Jack. He had a glass eye. Sometimes he drove a Trans Am Firebird. And sometimes he'd have his glass eye in, sometimes he wouldn't. As a kid, it's kind of freaky, but kick-ass car.
Wanted to look past his glass eye for his kick-ass car. I like it.
I do like, now that I am older, my wife would go out with my son and, trick or treat around the neighborhood. And then I'd stay home and give out candy. And, it's kind of cute to see the little kids in their costumes and stuff when they come to the door.
Do you have that rule where, like, if your light's on, then they can come up to your house? That type of thing?
The kids don't seem
that's
to
universal,
understand
isn't it?
Because the old house and then this one, I would turn the light off, but kids will still come up to the door. So we started hanging a sign that said, "Sorry, we're out of candy."
Yeah, I forgot about that one year. I got pizza delivered. It's nighttime. I flipped the light on to go out and get the pizza, right? And then kids started coming up like, fuck, I don't.
It's like The Walking Dead.
I'm just holding pizza boxes. And I'm like, I don't got anything. I'm sorry.
When I was little, I learned that rule about the light off because we had a Jehovah Witness neighbors, and they had their light off, but I went up to the door, and then they, well, they don't celebrate holiday things anyways, but the mom explained to me, we don't do. That's why the light's off. Like, oh, okay, thank you. How's it going, Iron Road?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Well, let me ask you this, since you're just got here. Do you spend more time watching television or social media?
Honestly, because I'm in that millennial Gen Z gap, I'm in between that. They call me a cusper or a zoomer, as they would. I am more inclined to watch social media than television.
And then the other question is, were you ever molested by the weirdo down the street while you're trick-or-treating?
I had the great fortune of not having that experience, so.
I feel like you thought about that too long. It should have been a resounding no if it didn't happen.
Well, it's
no. I was really caught off guard with that question. Like, oh,
is it
okay.
Is it really molestation if it's voluntary?
He had to think of the definition of weird.
If we're talking Halloween, though, because we were talking at first about like going door to door selling something, and that would have been essentially catching people off guard, unless for some reason they knew, like, our scout troop was swarming on the neighborhood or something to sell whatever we were selling. But at Halloween, everybody knew you were coming, and people set up haunted houses and like little tricks and stuff to mess with you. So it'd be like, you'd go in, I mean, it's not like every house, but I would say 2 or 3 houses at least every Halloween, that you'd be going into their house or into their garage or something to, their version of a haunted house, or to like mess with you or something. Or sometimes older kids try to steal your candy or some shit.
Yeah, I grew up during like the early 2000s, and I grew up in an Oregon suburb in the Pacific Northwest, and the general rule was that before I could even touch my candy was that the parents had to go over all of it, make sure it wasn't, tampered with.
Oh, there's a razor blade in this fentanyl.
And at the same time, most of the time, especially in October around here in Columbia, in the Pacific Northwest where I was at, generally everybody's trick-or-treating. They're traveling by car, so the parents are right there with them. Because generally 90% of the time, there's a good chance it's going to rain on Halloween.
I always liked when it snowed. That was fun.
Yeah, you could take that and smoke that in your pipe, because this recent smack of winter weather is just outright harassment at this point for Oregonians.
How much snow did you guys get?
Surprisingly, we didn't get much during the time that we expected it the most, which is generally December and January time. And we got it just late, February. And generally in late February, we don't get anything. Early February, there's a good chance that we do get something. And we didn't really get as much snow. It was just more or less the ice that was a big problem. And the other huge problem was that we did get about maybe here at sea level, I want to say 3 to 6 inches of snow. Meanwhile, people at the 1,000 foot got a good 7 to 10 inches.
When my son was younger, one of my favorite things for Halloween, it was making his costume. I loved doing that. One year he wanted to be a star, so I made him. I realized once I finished that I made it way too nice, that I didn't need to spend that much. I made it out of foam instead of just making it out of cardboard. But so it was a star, and then I covered it with chrome contact paper, and then put battery powered Christmas lights in it so he could twinkle.
Nice. That's friggin' awesome.
Twinkle, twinkle, your little star.
One year he wanted to be Minecraft, so I, made him a square head that he could wear. And it had arms, but I made the arms a little too big, so it was uncomfortable. But even without the arms, just walking around, he said that, people would instantly knew what he was. That, oh, it's Minecraft. Painted the little pixelated squares on it, all that. Yes, X Adam 1, I am in my garage. It's the Freedom Garage next to the Freedom Furnace. That's probably what you're hearing.
No, whatever noise cancellation you got, we never hear any kind of furnace. I don't hear any noise from you ever. Yours is actually one of the clearer audio channels, and your volume isn't all over the place.
It's like you do this professionally. It's awesome.
Where's that
Yeah.
stack of brass you got?
Oh yeah, let's not get into the reloading and your choice
Right here.
of when to do that.
Did you want me to drag it out?
That was the loudest thing I've ever heard on a podcast ever. Uh-oh, we froze him. We broke Foz.
He's a robot. Battery fell out.
I remember
Bring
one
it
year.
out here to use access point.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I gotta get this figured out. So, but
You're
you're
kinda
saying, Barry?
back. Oh, one
Oh.
year going door to door selling magazines. First house I went to, guy opened the door, his German shepherd like leaped at my face and started biting me. I'm like, what the fuck? That was the first house. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this year.
Is that back when you guys could sell standard capacity magazines?
Ouch, that hurts.
Sorry.
We still can. We just get arrested now.
Last month,
Like, there's two shops that were selling standard capacity magazines, and they just got fined. No one got arrested. Nothing.
That was brought up in the hearings on Tuesday
It's like, what the fuck?
by the anti-gunners.
And we have YouTubers that live in Washington that I won't name, but they blatantly talk about getting mags shipped to Oregon and picking them up at their sister's house. And
Nice.
I don't know. It's it doesn't seem like it's being enforced at all, as far as I can tell.
Well, really, what's there to enforce? That they're like, yeah, if you already have them, you can keep them, and like the idea of enforcing that is ludicrous. Like,
It was. All these anti-gun laws are bad, really bad, nebulously written. So wide interpretations, and the sheriffs, like for 1639,
Mhm.
Some of the sheriffs came out and said we can't even enforce this.
Yep.
So yeah, it's besides being unconstitutional, they're just badly written.
Yeah, it's like YouTube community guidelines. Like they hired the same person that did that.
Oh, and that's the thing too. It's like one thing that's getting me is why are they trying so late in the game? Is it because Bruin just scared the living crap out of them?
Yeah,
I think they're trying to close FFLs down here.
That's what the conclusion I came to, is that the whole intent is just to harm gun stores and put an immediate effect on gun owners.
At this point,
that's what we always say. So what about this as an alternative option? They don't know, so they think they're doing good. I've been doing a lot of doing stuff, and I've been noticing that when you ask an impartial third party to describe the situation with firearms in the United States, it'll say something to the effect of one side cares about safety and one side cares about their rights. So if the one side is convinced that the other side only cares about theoretical rights, or they're selfish or something, and they're not willing to pay attention to the other side's point of view for real, and they're being told the other side only cares about rights and they don't care about children and this and that, and they're so two-faced because they also care about this, and we don't like them, and let's not listen to them. How could they possibly be right because they're so crazy? And then they're told this is the way to do this. This is for safety. So it's not that they're trying to get us. It's just that they don't know, and this is what they really think is going to help. And if that's the case, if you agree that it's possible that that's the scenario, you don't go beat somebody over the head because that's what they're expecting an unreasonable, upsettable, violent person to do. Yell about your rights and your property. That's how potentially, if the anti-gunners are strategic, then that's how they've set it up. If they're lucky and stupid, then that's what they're depending on. They're banking on. And I suspect it's that they're lazy and stupid, and they're banking on a rift. And they know that the people on the other side don't want to come across the line and say, what is this? Is this really the best way to do it? Can we go to the mitigating factors of suicide and really end the suffering and help people? They're not going to come across and ask that because they don't know that we're over here with that message, right? That's not getting through. We know that our best messages are not getting through to them at all. Only our extreme people that are yelling and screaming and being rude, the same way that we only see their people. So if we think of it as these are really a leverage of people who are unaware, even those representatives who seem like they're doing things to strategically go lash out at us, could simply just not understand, and they're thick-headed, so they don't have a reason or an inclination to. So how do you get through to someone who doesn't want to talk to you? You do things in front of the public that normalizes guns and that shows that you're rational, and their suggestion that we're irrational is more and more difficult to even contemplate, let alone agree with. That's my alternative suggestion.
I'd beg to differ in that regard, because the thing is that when it comes to people that have been propagandized to such a degree that all they've been told is lies and all they accept and nod their heads yes to are lies, it becomes almost an automatic a rejection of a fact. And
that's why you got to convince them of the fact.
You could
say you've got to defeat the bad propaganda. However, I'm going to disagree with G-Webs for another reason. That's just because we look at some of the legislation that they're doing now. They are purposely trying to put segments of the industry out of business.
Especially in Washington with this FFL liability shit.
Let me answer X Adam 1 real quick. He was asking why don't gun shops do like casinos where you buy plastic coin, take the coin across the street where you can trade it in for a magazine. It's illegal to even transfer a magazine of more than 10 rounds or parts that could convert a magazine to more than 10 rounds.
If I own a welded magazine that's stuck at 10 rounds, and I also own a grinder. Is that constructive intent?
Probably. But no, I mean, I agree with G that the people as a whole that hear that gun owners only care about their rights, they don't care about people, they don't care about safety, et cetera, they just don't know. They don't know anything about firearms culture. They don't know anything about 2A. You know, hell, just sit them down and have them watch YouTube for a day, and all the channels that are like, do this responsibly, and you got to safety check your weapon, and blah 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 for firearm safety rules. I mean, they're gonna be like, oh, you know, every freaking video starts off mentioning safety. And I'm sure that there are some politicians that wholeheartedly believe, oh, I'm, you know, doing this for the greater good, and you know, they think the only way to make that difference is to ban firearms. But when you look at things like the redefinition of firearms and receivers and what they're trying to do with 80%ers and what they are looking at doing, you know, you can speculate on the new executive orders, but I think the biggest threat there would be them just trying to really regulate 3D printing of frames, which, I mean, that's really not hurting an industry, that's hurting the private builder that wishes to just build his own firearms at home. I mean, look at the court case out of Texas for 80%ers and how hard the DOJ is fighting that case. You know, they don't want any injunctions or anything else because that's allowing these companies to still sell product. It's keeping them in business. You know, it's great. You know, the bump stock case could finally be heard by the Supreme Court in the next session, I believe it is. None of those companies are around anymore. And if they can just make stuff illegal, make it go through the court system, you know, if it has to run all the way up to the Supreme Court, so be it, to them, because they don't care, because at the end of the day, they're ending segments of the firearms community. You know, right now they're going after pistol braces, which I don't agree with the way these cases are being fought. I wish they would say, yeah, they're right, these are SBRs. And, you know, the argument is always, well, there's no way to really tell if crime would go up or not, because these aren't in the hands of Americans. So we'll just keep them on the NFA. Well, great. There's somewhere between 3 million and 40 million of these now, as they're declared by the ATF, SBRs in the hands of Americans. And that means we have plenty of statistics over the last decade to show that, no, crime didn't go up. These were not used at a high rate, almost at any rate at all, in crimes involving firearms. And, you know, but nonetheless, I digress because I'm going down another rabbit hole. But, you know, nonetheless, they're still trying to go after the pistol brace community, you know, because if they can get that halted and it's got to run its way to the Supreme Court or anything like that, again, 5 or 6 years, all those companies out of business.
You just remind me of something very important. In Washington State, if this assault weapon ban passes and you put in a Form 1 for one of these free tax stamps, aren't you completely fucked?
Yeah.
Because you just admitted that you committed a felony, and now Washington State is making it so you can't make the SBR legally anymore.
Well, I think about how many people are SOL anyways. And with, I mean, props to the government on how they're doing this, because they're saying you don't have to give up your property, but that property can't be used for its intended use. You know, you can just take that brace off of your pistol and you can store it in your shed under 700-pound engine block and never really see it again. That way we can't charge you with constructive intent in case we ever
Well,
came knocking.
it's still legal to use if you use it on a rifle.
Yes, it's legal to use on a rifle.
There's nobody's going to use it. There's no reason to use it on a rifle.
No, you just put a stock on at that point.
You guys are going
Unless
on
you're a person with
details.
one arm or strength issues or something like that where you actually need help from the brace.
So you're going off on details. So you can look at where a spear hit the ground and go, oh my goodness, it almost hit this frog, right? And then the next spear hits the ground, you go, it didn't hit the frog, but it could have easily been aiming at this frog. And then the next spear hits the ground and it's like, oh yeah, see, it hit the frog and it killed the frog and we knew it was coming. Does that mean that they're aiming at the frog, or does that mean they're winging spears because they know that we're going to address no matter what? Like we're going to read something into it. We're going to worry about it. We're going to stop the bleeding. We're going to mourn for the frog. They throw spears. We react. I'm saying when we look at where the spear lands, maybe it's that analogy of getting the bloody people out of the river or whatever. But if we're paying attention to where the spear lands, our brains are going to go, why did they kill this frog? Or shit, they almost killed this frog. But if they're just winging a stick because they want us to be distracted, then they don't care at all about where the stick fell. They just know.
So are the sticks that they're winging the things that they're doing in Minnesota?
So let me ask you this.
Washington? Hold on. You just said a bunch of stuff, G. Hold on. No.
They're going to make this whole house of cards fall because of bump stocks.
No, I'm not just saying bump stocks. I just gave 80%ers as an example. Bump stocks, pistol braces.
That's even more my point.
Say,
I seriously think they're sitting down with like the whole playing field and they said, here's our tactic. We're taking them all out. We're going all in and we're going to do it like this. We're going to hit this and this and this strategically. I think they're just throwing fucking shit out there.
No, with bump stocks, that was just a happy accident. But now they realize, oh, wait a minute, we can just make things illegal and put whole segments of the industry out of business. And my point is, are the sticks really what's happening in Washington, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York?
Business is what they care, or is it us being distracted from the border what they care? Is it us being distracted from the economy what they care? Is us being distracted? Is gun community being taken out of anything with Ukraine being part of it? So you're saying it's the industry, and I'm saying they get so much out of this that the industry is like icing on the sprinkles or the chocolate chips in the inside, but they're getting a chocolate chip cupcake with sprinkles and filling and this and that. And you're saying, oh, look, they got sprinkles. And I'm saying, yeah, they got sprinkles and a filling and a chocolate chips, and they just went all out on the buffet here. That's why I'm saying there's just so much on the table that I don't think they sat down and said, you know what, we could have gone after, I don't know, vert grips, and we could have gone after, optics because of some reason, because they're idiots, right? They're just coming up with shit. I think they just threw stuff out there, and yeah, whatever lands on, like you say, sometimes it hits good. Sometimes the bump stock was like out of left field, and now they're losing it. I think there's a lot of that. We've always said the frailing arms as they know they're dying. Like it's the same kind of thing. They know they're drowning, I should say. Like they're just going to start throwing stuff. When a drowning person smacks you in the eye, they didn't think about hitting you in the eye. They're flapping their arm around. I just don't know. I don't know, obviously. I'm just saying.
And that's what I was saying before. They're definitely just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what can stick, trying to rally their bases in a whole as well, especially after losing the House in midterms and whatnot. They're definitely just flailing. I've said it multiple times on like my show that I think we're seeing the death throes of the anti-gun movement. When's the last time you heard about Bloomberg? Shannon Watts is out. The only thing that you're really hearing about right now is Kathy Giffords and her thing. But as a whole, I still think the anti-gunners do have a slight idea, because again, if they put segments of even if they know it's going to get overturned by the Supreme Court, as long as they can make a court case take that long to get up there, if it's not expedited or anything, you're talking, again, 5-6 years. That puts people out of business. And once those people are out of business, they lose their livelihoods. Do they have the ability to get back into that game after the decision is overturned?
I think it it was an incremental targeting where go after bump stocks, because most people don't care about bump stocks. So if we can remove bump stocks and go after braces, and because a lot of people have them, but most people don't really care about them. We can remove that. That's one more little piece that they remove.
Yep.
And then once the New York pistol rifle NYSERPA happened, then I think they just started chucking everything at the wall to try and get it pushed through before stuff gets overturned. Because it's like with Washington, they for the 10-round limit on magazines, and the number got moved around, and that's a whole kind of shit show. But they got the 10-round limit they wanted. Now they're talking 7 rounds. So it was, they targeted the magazine capacity where people would not care. Well, 10 is enough. 10 is enough for everybody. A lot of people think that. So they hit the 10. Now they're pushing for 7. Well, 7 is enough. And so it's like we've talked about before, they're chipping away slowly. But then once the NYSERPA ruling came down, then it's just throwing everything at the wall. See what sticks, put as many, I don't know quite if it's put as many roadblocks, but get all the legislation out there that they can, and then see what happens. I don't think...
Small correction. I think we might have misread the assault weapon ban. It's 7 rounds for shotguns, but not rifles or handguns, as far as I can tell.
There was... I swear that came up. I don't think it made it into a bill, the 7 round, but that was something that was talked about.
That is in the assault weapon thing, but it's for shotguns.
But I don't think that the gun issue stuff is being used as a diversion for other political things outside of guns. I think it is to get rid of guns. But that does happen where an issue will be brought up as a kind of like a straw man. But not exactly. I guess that's a wrong analogy. But to distract people so everybody gets upset about this thing while they're doing this thing over there.
And if it was a little less stuff going on, I'd say there's a certain amount of they're going to rattle the cage occasionally or often and whatever, periodically is the word, I guess, to keep that reserve in base. And I've noticed that now over the years, especially. I don't think that there's a long-term play, but one of the tactics that they'll use is to go kick us around the gun community around every once in a while, knowing that by keeping the bees upset, that when they need us, they can really shake up the hive.
There was I was talking in the pre-chat with Baron and G-Webs about when I went up to the hearings for one of the anti-gun bills. And there was a group that was outside. They had signs, they had a flag, and they were from time to time, some of them would scream about communism, which, it's great that they're active and, they're supporting their rights. I don't know about the screaming about communism, if that is helping. But, they are redressing their grievances, which is their right. And a legislator was walking by to go into the building and looked at the signs, saw the signs, said something about communism. I didn't read their sign, so I don't know exactly what it said. But he made a comment, said, well, what's wrong with communism? And kept walking. And that spun them up where, they did not understand they were being trolled. And they were... they're asking, did he say communism is fine? What did he just say? like, you're being trolled. They're doing this purposely, and you fell for it. So yeah, there. I mean, that is something that
Yeah,
happens.
and that's something that people that aren't of the inclination to do that to other people, and they don't hang out with people that do that to each other, and they don't pay attention to the people that are doing it, those people are susceptible to that. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, I think we have a lot of that out here, and it's just what we're going to get because we have such a diverse group of people that, you know, there's some hazing and shit in the military, for example. There's some hazing and shit in like youth sports, I'm sure. There's like different things that segments of us are familiar with that we can see I don't know, there's just probably stuff between siblings, right? Like there's things that some people are going to be oblivious to and they're going to fall for it. And we do that quite a bit. And exactly what you're talking about there, that happens to us all the time as a community. And it's like, calm down, everybody. What are you doing? And everybody's getting all upset. I sometimes call it the barking dogs, but you made a good point there. Like the deliberate trolling, and then the people that are sarcastic trollers or whatever I call them, that's their thing. Like the only thing they really got that they're good at, or the thing that makes them feel good, like whatever, is to do that to people when they know they can do it to people. It's like a bullying tactic or something. So they're just gonna, you know, they know that the barking dog knows that it's not going to get nothing off you, but it makes you stop. You know, if it barks at everybody walking by, somebody's going to stop, and then it goes, woohoo, made them stop. Goes on what it's like, barking at the next person that goes by.
Iron Road. Is there anything you want to plug?
No, not particularly. I don't got anything going on at the moment.
Any videos you got in the works?
Not quite. I've been working on trying to figure out some content, but you know, between trying to figure out, you know, working a full-time job and also trying to come back and have some time to myself, but then also figure out content for the channel, definitely a big challenge. That's one thing I'm learning on this whole YouTube-averse thing.
Yeah, that's definitely for all of us amateurs. That's something we all go through.
Sorry.
Barbecue.
Hey, sorry about that noise.
Oh, that's okay.
Not sure what the heck it was, other than the dogs.
Oh, anything you want to plug?
We didn't hear any noise.
Oh, cool. Anything to plug? Tomorrow night show. Gonna do a giveaway. It is the 2nd anniversary of Ampy, so we'll be going into our 3rd year with that now.
So are the gifts ripoffs too?
Yes, 100%. So I haven't even actually decided what I'm gonna give away. Probably whoever wins, give them an option of what they might want. Fired up a show that I'm calling The Reliever. Where I'm ripping off Midnight Range and just kind of taking over the slot for the closer because, Midnight hasn't really been heard from in almost a year now. So figured, you know, try and fill that spot, get some of the guys that used to be in there back together. Everybody seemed to be pretty excited about that last week. So I'm going to keep doing that. Calling it The Reliever because I decided to make it sports themed since Midnight was called The Closer, even though Midnight hated sports ball. Figured that was a fun little way to troll him. So going to be doing that, and I plan on making videos again eventually, but that probably won't come until this fall. So thanks for the invite.
Oh, thanks for showing up. Hang on. Where'd it go? Where'd I put it? Where's that thing? I don't know why I always lose my... There it is. GearWebsites.com for your 2A related stickers, t-shirts, patches, web design, consulting, you name it. He can probably hook you up. GearWebsites.com. Anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
Just thanks for keeping a focus on stuff that matters, giving us a chance to have a conversation in the middle of the night. Appreciate it. Thanks for the link. Everybody can join us on the, what do you call that thing? The better Discord thing over there.
Gilded.
The Gilded server. Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog jumping in here at the end. Baron, anything you want to plug?
Yes, I'd like to ask people to stop throwing spears at frogs. I'm getting a little worried over here.
What the heck is going on with this spears at frogs? What?
What the hell? You act like you never thrown spears at frogs before.
No, I haven't thrown spears at anything before.
So I appreciate everybody that was out there in the live chat participating, and those who might have been watching and lurking but didn't say anything. Appreciate you too. And those who watch this in replay, leave a comment. I crave comments. I always read them. They're always appreciated. And this weekend is an off weekend, so no overnight. So next chat should be next Wednesday, provided I don't have to work again. I don't find out until, well, I'll find out later today, but so I never quite know until the end of the week what's going to happen the next week. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night.